What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, That Guy Mile High, tuning back in for another reaction. This time we got top 10 dark crimes solved by internet detectives. And that to me is just a crazy thought that you could be an internet detective. Like you could solve crimes just being really, really overly proficient at Google. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, let's see what they're talking about. Let's find out. This might be really mind-blowing. This might spark some new interest in some careers. You know what I'm saying? You might see this and be like, yo, bro, I can do that. You never know. Anyways, let's go.
From the Grateful Doe to the online persuader, the crime-solving enthusiasts of the internet have been solving crimes left, right, and center. Here are your top 10 dark crimes solved by internet detectives. In our number 10 spot, we have freckles. A long time ago, before I was born, it was the year 1979. A woman named Paulette Jaster mysteriously disappeared from a small town in Michigan. This case remained a mystery for about 35 years when we fast forward to 2014, when an online tip from the internet detectives had forensic anthropologist Shannon Derrick circle back to the case. Apparently, she was told that there was a Jane Doe found in Harris County, Texas, that she should inspect. So she did, and was then able to confirm through analyzing old autopsy photographs and through analyzing specific freckles that this was indeed Paulette Jaster, who had been hitchhiking and was a victim of a hit and run. Her family was finally able to know what happened to her. Crazy to think that this was 35 years after the fact. In our number 9 spot today, we have the virus. The internet is a very big place. On one side, you have stores to shop from, fun videos, movies, and music for entertainment. And then there is, of course, a dark side with illegal trading of substances, predators, and hired assassins. They are usually found in the deep dark web, which thankfully I have no idea how to get to. Brad William was not a fan of the dark web, and since he was a hacker, he decided to design.
That's some real shit. I've always known about the dark web. I can't say always, but I've known about the dark web since I'd say early teenage years. 13, 14, 15 in there. You start to, you start to get out in the world as just a person. You know what I'm saying? You start hearing things and having conversations and shit. Curious, you know what I'm saying? And that's the first time that I remember hearing about the dark web and the fact that you was able to do crazy things buy illicit, substances and all sorts of crazy things on this alternative internet, you know what I'm saying? But I never knew, nor was I ever really interested enough to ask, how do I get there? You know what I'm saying? It was never that question never came about. So I can honestly tell you that I've never been on the dark web as far as I know and can remember. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen what the dark web actually looks like for real.
A virus that would go on to infect over 3,000 computers of suspected predators. At the time, he was operating under the alias of Omnipotent. Since he did obtain a lot of his evidence illegally, the authorities didn't act on a lot of it, which arguably there should be a rule that they can act on any proof when it comes to predators, no matter how it's retrieved, but maybe that's just me. He ended up helping secure some convictions, though, and outed suspected predators, so at least he was able to help a little. In our number 8 spot, we have the lottery winner. There are millions of crimes around the world that have never been solved. Sometimes there's just not enough evidence, and a case gets closed as time passes and no conclusion is made. That has changed a lot, though, since the dawn of the internet, as crime-solving detectives are everywhere. This is the case of this story. There once was a homeless man from Florida named Abraham Shakespeare who won the lottery and then was killed. Police unfortunately had no leads, and so the crime-solving enthusiasts of the internet put their detective hats on. Frequent visitors of a forum called Web Sleuth suspected a woman whom Shakespeare apparently transferred all of his previous lottery winnings to, which you would think the cops might have suspected, but hey. But then what was weird was that a woman had actually gone on the forum, joined in on the conversation, and then actually confessed to the crime. The moderators of the forum made sure that none of her words could be edited, and that was the evidence they needed for a conviction. In our number 7 spot today, we have the Grateful Doe. In Greensville County, Virginia, there was a man that got nicknamed the Grateful Doe, as he was an unidentified victim of a car crash that killed 2. No one knew.
Thinking about that last story, how do you, she had like a real guilty conscience. She did that shit and was just like, oh my god, I can't live with myself. Like she had to tell on herself. Like I just man.
Who he was for
Don't do
20
crimes, kids.
years because his injuries were that extensive. All they knew was that he had 2 tickets to a Grateful Dead concert, a note addressed to a Jason, and a tattoo on his arm. The mystery of the Grateful Doe became a fascination to many online. So much so that the Grateful Dead fans online decided to make a page dedicated to identifying him on Facebook. One of the photographs that was posted prompted a woman to contact the page creator. It was later revealed that it was her son, Jason Callahan, who had gone missing during that time, and she had believed him to have run away. The woman posted on the page, "This is my son, Jason Callahan from Myrtle Beach. I've been looking for him all this time with no luck. Today, my other son saw this Facebook page, and after all these years of praying for him to just call me or come home, I found him. Please inbox or message or contact me." This was later confirmed by DNA tests. A wild story. To think all the people online that got involved helped bring that woman peace. In our number 6 spot, we have the online persuader. This is the case of 18-year-old Nadia Kujuji, who took her life by jumping off a bridge on the Rideau River in Ottawa. Apparently, she was going through quite a lot at the time, including a recent miscarriage and all the pressures that came along with school. A while after she passed, an online counselor named Cecilia Bay suspected a man and then later discovered that he had been persuading and assisting in the deaths of 5 or 6 people. His name was Melchert Dinkel, and his online name was Cammy D.
What?
And it turns out that Nadia had spoken to him right before her death, and he had convinced her to take her life. But thanks to counselor Cecilia, he was charged on 2 accounts and hopefully will be in jail for life. Coming up at our number 5 spot today, we have the stolen computer. What is one item I would have a very hard time losing? Yes, my laptop. My laptop holds the keys to all of my deep secrets. And cute pictures of my dog, so the thought of losing it is terrifying. I know what you're thinking, just back it up, Mel, but then I have to rebuttal with saying that it's expensive and I just don't want to lose it. I can only imagine how it felt to be a man named Sean Power, who not only lost his laptop, but also his phone and some very important documents in a bag. Well, he didn't lose them, someone stole them. And naturally, you would think, oh well, they're probably gone, don't waste your breath. But Sean wasn't ready to give up hope too fast. He actually took to Twitter to ask his 12,000 followers for help, and guess what? One of them actually managed to find his laptop and the other important documents. Love that. In our number 4 spot, we have the bullies. 2 20-something men were brutally injured in Philadelphia on September 11th, 2014. Apparently, there was a dispute about their sexual orientation that led to a group of individuals attacking them. One of the 2 men was so badly injured that his jaw was wired shut. The police released some surveillance footage online to see if any of the persons could be identified. This time, the Twitter detectives got to work and began to narrow down the potential perpetrators through social media. Eventually, there was enough evidence that the police was notified and the case was turned back to them. In our number 3 spot, we have shaky evidence. On April 4th, 2015, Walter Scott, a 50-year-old black male, was shot by a South Carolina police officer named Michael Slager. For a long time, he wasn't immediately charged, as the footage that was given into evidence by a person watching nearby was too shaky to be conclusive evidence. But then a Canadian film student named Daniel Vauchart, who was focusing on image stabilization at the time, worked on the footage and posted it as a GIF on Reddit. This image stabilization then proved this evidence to be conclusive, and Michael was sentenced to a 20-year prison sentence. In our number 2 spot, we have the bucket. This is a wild and creepy story, and now knowing it, I may possibly have nightmares tonight. It was back in 2001 when a retired trucker by the name of Ronald Telfer discovered a bucket outside a Missouri truck shop. He didn't think much of it because it was a plastic bucket. A month later, he returned to the truck shop only to see the bucket still there. And so he decided he would take it. He had pigs at his house, and so he thought the bucket would be useful to feed the pigs. He emptied the bucket of what he thought was just hardened concrete, but inside there was also a human head. A woman online named Ellen Leach saw the picture of the head and was able to identify the head by seeing a photo on a missing person site for a man named Gregory May. Apparently, his best friend, Doug DeBruin, killed him and would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for Ellen. He was sentenced to life in prison. In our number 1 spot, we have the cyclist. This is another hit and run case at the
Could you imagine finding a random bucket with some what you thought was concrete and then you realize it's a human head? Like, what the? Holy shit.
that has solved, and apparently these are the particular cases that they have solved a lot. Perhaps there are just a lot of car enthusiasts also very interested in crime solving. In this particular case, a Washington cyclist was hit and the incident was fatal. The cops had no leads on the case and took it to the online Sherlock Holmes of the world. The Reddit users were able to identify specific car parts, and then an ex-state car inspector was able to precisely pinpoint the make and model of the vehicle. The car ended up being quite an old car, a 1980s Chevrolet Silverado. And since not many people in this particular area still owned this car, the driver was found and convicted. Case closed. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm Melissa.
The internet Sherlock Holmes is out there. Them detectives gonna get your ass. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get your ass. Anyways, man, y'all let me know what y'all thought about that down in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.